Hi, this is Sandy Nightfaver.
And I'm Sage Canaday.
And this is our running form video to help you get faster and hopefully stay injury free.
So we know there's a lot of different running techniques out there, from the pose method, chi running, and natural running, and the enhanced method.
So what we're going to try to do is show you the similarities between all of them, which is also what the best athletes in the world use, so hopefully you can apply that to your own running. So here I'm just leaning forward, and I'm leaning by my ankles and making sure not to lean by my hips. And just by leaning forward, I'm letting gravity just naturally propel me forward and get into my run that way. A good way to reinforce proper leg motion is to practice marching. By doing this drill, you'll be lifting your knees correctly and your feet will be positioned directly under the center of gravity. To really help with proper running form, you could practice skipping like this to work on quick and light feet. If you want to, you can imagine that the ground is a hotbed of coals.
So the real key is to be quick and light on your feet. And another way to experience this is to run around barefoot. When you're running around barefoot, the nerves on the bottom of your feet are stimulated so that you can't come down too forcefully. Today we're going to actually focus on the upper portion of your body, an often neglected part of running form, and we'll start with the head. And generally this is a mistake I make all the time. I'll start getting tired in the later stages of a race, and I'll start putting my head down. I'll start looking at my feet because I could just barely bear the thought of taking one more step. And you don't want to even look that far forward, but for good running form you do want to look farther forward, about 50 to 100 feet off in the distance, or maybe at that next pack ahead of you. And that's going to open up your neck, and it's going to keep your head stable, because your head's a lot of weight, and you don't want to be craned over like this, because it's going to make it hard to breathe. You want to make sure your neck's open enough that you're letting all the oxygen you could get through your bronchial tubes and through your trachea. So keep the neck straight ahead and relaxed. And then also with the shoulders, you're going to want to keep your shoulders also tend to cinch up, tense up, and hunch over when your neck goes forward. So with that in mind, you also want to keep your shoulders down and relax, and keep the trap muscles nice and relaxed. And that's going to promote a really good arm swing. We haven't talked much about arm swing, but it's going to keep your arms moving like levers, and you just want to move more like pendulums, just straight back and forth with this motion, about a 90-degree angle in the elbow joint, but it doesn't need to be too exaggerated, and you just want to stay relaxed, and that's really the key with good running form. And then also crossing over the midsection of the body, you don't want to be doing this. If I drew a line straight down my torso here in the middle, you don't want to be over sideways with that motion. You want to be more straight back and forth, and a lot of times your hand might brush up against your hip, and that's usually a pretty comfortable height for most people. And then with that in mind, also the elbows don't want to be too wingy. You don't want to have your elbows out like this. They want to keep your elbows in and keep going in that forward and backward plane.
So the most important thing you can do to work on your running that's not actually running is work on core. Even if you only do a minute a day, whether it's planks or bicycles or whatever you can find, that's better than nothing. If you can do 10 minutes of core work a day, that's even better. But the reason you want to do that is because towards the end of the race, or if you're going up a hill, people tend to start slouching a little bit. And at first I guess it kind of seems easier because it's your body's natural response, but then you're not getting all the airflow that you can get into your body, because you need to be straight up to get all that air. I mean, you want to be leaning forward, but you don't want to slouch. So if you can work on your core, it's going to help you just kind of like stay strong towards the end of the run or going uphill, and it's going to let you get all that airflow you need to get in to keep running strong and fast.
So another thing you could do to help improve your form and kind of iron out the kinks with your biomechanics is to do strides. And basically strides are about 90% of an all-out top speed sprint. And you could do this on your local track, you could do it on a flat road surface. And basically what it is you run for about 15 to 20 seconds, slowly accelerating to about 90 to 95% of your maximum speed, trying to run with really good form, really good turnover, and just thinking about all those things we mentioned before. And you could do this at the end of an easy run, you could do this before a speed workout to get warmed up, but it really enforces proper running mechanics because you can't run fast without any wasted motion. And between each 20-second effort or so, or 100 meters, you want to rest, give yourself a complete recovery, so you don't want to be winded going into the next one. So usually, that'll take maybe 2 minutes, a minute or so, just to catch your breath so you're not building up any lactic acid. And the importance is just being quick and light on your feet and running with proper form. And this really is going to help your efficiency at all slower paces, even if you're racing a marathon, ultramarathon, 10K or 5K, half marathon. It doesn't matter. 180 steps per minute is kind of the ideal stride rate that you want to strive for. Obviously there's some variation, 170 to 190 steps a minute would be okay, but 180 is usually going to get you that optimal cadence and that optimal length of stride that you want, no matter what speed you're racing at.
All you do, you count the steps you take in a minute with the 1 foot. So you just look at your watch, set it for a minute, and then just count the times you step with either your right or left foot. It doesn't have to be both feet, that would be kind of hard, so just count the landing of 1 foot. And then when you're done, you multiply that by 2, and then that's your stride rate. So thank you for watching our running form video. We hope that you run faster and injury-free.